Today we're going to be putting an APPS sensor on an 03 Dodge 5-speed. This is a 250 horsepower truck. This truck came in, you start out going down the road and the truck would just fall completely on its face. Customer might have thought it had a fuel issue. After we brought it in and checked the codes on it, we noticed that it's got a P2122 and a P2121. Those are both APP sensor codes. Drove the truck down the road and we watched the APP sensor sweep on the data display. The first thing that you'll come to is you'll notice that when you're doing a data read with like this is a Snap-on Solus, is your APPS percentage. You can be going down the road and 50% throttle and this will just drop to 0 and the truck will fall and it'll pick back up. So we've definitely got an APP sensor problem. Now, as far as our TPS, however you want to call it, TPS or APPS sensors that we offer on the website, we offer Alliant Power. We've got them in 2 different models. We have them like what we're going to install today. This will be just the potentiometer part of the APP sensor. This is an Alliant Power AP63458. This works on the VP and the common rail trucks as well. This is actually just the sensor and we're going to show you how to install it today. Now we already have these pre-assembled, the bell, what they call bell crank assembly. We offer those on the website as well. So let's get started with our install. This assembly on the front of the engine is our TPS sensor or APPS sensor or APPS. This is on the 98.5 to 04 Dodges, the 98.5 to 02 VP trucks. It's again on the front of the engine, on the driver's side of the engine. On the 0304 trucks, same location, front of the engine, driver's side of it. This is only on the common rail trucks, the 03 and 04s that are the 250 or the 305 horsepower. So if you've got a 325 horsepower 04.5, you will not have this. First thing we're going to do today is we're going to loosen up the 3 bolts that hold the housing to the motor. And what that's going to allow us to do is to get access to the front screw. This is where your APPS or TPS sensor is located. It is on the driver's side, front of the engine. Now the 98 to 02 VP44 trucks all have this, as well as do the 03 and 04 250 and 305 horsepower common rail trucks. So again, it's on the front, driver's side of the engine. What we're going to do first off is we're going to take the 3 metric bolt, the 3 13 metric bolts out that hold it to the front of the engine, and this is we're just going to loosen them up, and that's going to give us some slack to be able to get to our cover, our front cover screw. Okay, now we're going to remove our cover screw to give us access to our 6 bolts holding the APPS bracketry on. First screw is on the top of the APPS box, and it's a screw with an insert. So once you loosen it up, you should be able to pull it out as one little assembly there. And then that gives us access to our front screw on our cover. Okay, now that's got both of our screws out. I'm going to put a couple bolts back in the TPS or the APPS. Okay, pull the cover off. There's 2 clips on the front of it. You can pull it and just slide it straight down and pull it right out. Okay, now you can see the location of the 6 bolts that hold the assembly onto the housing. 3 bolts here on the top, 3 bolts on the bottom, and that's going to expose our potentiometer or our APPS sensor itself actually. We're going to remove those real quick. 10 metric. A little bit of an extension makes this a little bit easier. Okay, we've got the APPS, the drive assembly off the housing now. There's two torque bolts that hold the APPS potentiometer on. They are a T20 Torx. What we're going to do is just get them started and loosen them. There's an electrical connector on the bottom of the potentiometer. We're going to go ahead and unhook it once we get this loose. Okay. Now we can begin to remove our potentiometer. I don't know what's wrong with that thing, Anna. Screw ain't wanting to come out. Got it that time.
What's it snapping, you reckon?
I don't know what it was. Just old. All right, this is the potentiometer itself. Now you can see on here it says 0.439 voltage direct current. Okay, that is where this would be set up at zero pedal position. Now I'm going to teach you how to back probe the wires and setting this new one up. But this one was supposed to have been set up at a 0.439. When we probed it, it was about 0.25, so it was a little bit off already. So that's good. We know the pedal position sensor is bad. So now we're going to install our new one. All right, to install your new one, you'll see a little tongue there the potentiometer goes on. You simply slide it onto that and just kind of generally get it pointed straight down. Then install your bolts, your Torx bolts back. Now you'll want to leave these loose going forward into this, because we will be doing some adjusting here. Now this potentiometer in this package is rated for 0.55 volts at idle, and it will be plus or minus 0.05 volts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this just snug down, and then we're going to test it to see what our voltage is. Okay, now that we have our potentiometer on, what we're going to do is we're just going to hook our harness back up, and we are going to go in and we're going to set up our voltages on this APPS. Now, the way that we're going to do that is we're going to go in, turn the key on inside the truck, and then we're going to come out here and we're going to back probe the number 3 wire in this harness. Let me get this out of your way so you can see it. The number 3 wire in this harness, which is your yellow wire on the outside closest to the firewall. So it's the yellow wire on the outside truck pointing closest towards the driver's fender well, and then closest to the back of the truck. That's how it hooks up to the APPS. So what we're going to do is we're going to back probe it. We're just going to put our voltmeter in here, and then we're going to hook it back to our potentiometer, just like that. Everything clicks. Now we'll get inside the truck, turn the truck on, and we'll check our voltage and then set our now we're going to set up the potentiometer. What we have, we've left this loose on the torque bolts, okay? The wiring harness is hooked up, the key is on in the truck. We want to set this potentiometer, this APPS, to 0.55 volts. Our range on that, you can miss it by 0.05 volts, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to be back probing the number 3 wire, which is the yellow wire coming out of the harness. It will be the one farthest away, closest to the driver's fender and closest to the firewall, so out and back. All right, so we're just going to back probe it now. All right, Jimmy, see what you got right there. Okay, now as you can see on the voltmeter, we're at 0.47, 0.39, so we need to go the other way. 0.55, perfect. All right. We got Adam over here on the torque wrench. He's going to get our top one for us. Hold on just a second, man. Let me get it perfect. Perfect, get it right there. All right. Tighten it. Tighten it. That's it, perfect. Okay. Now you can see that's kind of you got to have a couple guys to help you do that. It's a little bit more technical. Now again, as we were talking about in the first part of the video, if you buy a APPS sensor from us already put together, they're a little bit more expensive, but this is already done for you. So we're going to tighten this down. You've got a torque spec of 150 inch-pounds on this. To tighten it down, and you'll want to go back and just double check yourself. Again, the yellow wire on the outside closest to the firewall. Check it, make sure that you're sitting at around 0.55. Making good contact in it. There it is. All right, perfect. All right, she's good to go. Now we're going to torque it down and put our housing back together. Okay. All right, now reinsert your 6 bolts to hold the sensor to the housing. This is real easy, just the installation of this is just a reverse removal. We're going to put our front cover back on the APPS. It just goes around everything, goes up to the front and snaps on. Your 2 push pin, Phillips screw push pins. Put those back in. One in the back of the sensor housing, one in the front.
Hey Jimmy, go put that other light on over there. You'll need something to poke it with. Grab a torque wrench right off the front, bro. That'll work too.
Thou shalt have $1,000 in your pocket.
All right, now our 13 on the housing. 13's on the housing, tighten those down. Okay, now we're gonna move to the cab. We're gonna hook it up on sensor, or hook it up on scanner, make sure everything's okay. Okay, now we've got our APPS sensor in. Now this is very important. First step, when you get back in the truck, turn the key off after your installation. You've been checking your sweeps on your potentiometer. First thing you want to do is turn the key on in the truck, get in the truck, and very slowly depress the accelerator pedal from 0 all the way to 100%, all the way to the floor, and then let up on it and turn the key off. This will set up your potentiometer. Okay, so now what we're going to do first is we're going to start the truck, make sure everything's working. That's perfect. It idles correctly, it takes throttle correctly, everything's good. We're going to clear the codes out, and that completes our installation. Now, again, ordering this potentiometer, this Alliant Power potentiometer, this is going to save you some money. But as you saw today, it's kind of a labor-intensive installation. So our already assembled APPS sensors are right around the $440 to $450 range, just depending if you have a manual shift truck or you have an automatic truck. They're really easy to install. They're just to unbolt them, unbolt the 13 metric bolts, bolt the new one back in, you're ready to go, set up your sweeps. Maybe take you 10 minutes to do your installation. This installation is a little bit more labor intensive, but it's going to save you a couple $100. So hope that helps you out. Again, this is Alliant Power APPS throttle position sensor or accelerator position sensor installation. If you have any questions for anything, let us know. Thank you.